channel. It's been a while since I've spoken to you and I have actually missed you guys, and it's been a little while, but welcome back to my channel. I'm Imiebi. Had a name change, so help me embrace my name. Call me Imiebi. It's my Nigerian name and I'm loving it. So yes, thank you for joining me. I want to speak about the fact that I haven't traveled for 6 years, and really this video is to encourage anyone that's feeling like they're left out, or maybe with this day and age with social media and feeling like people are going all over the place, or with YouTubers that are being like their holidays are being paid for, and their accommodations being paid for, and brands are paying for things, and you may feel a bit left out about that. But I just want to share my story in the hope that you will kind of embrace your season and just understand that traveling is not everything. So about 6 years ago, I graduated from my first degree. I was 21 and I studied psychology and sociology. And so I went on 3 holidays that year. I went to Spain twice and I went to Nigeria, and I was really just loving it, living it up, enjoying the fact that I am entering a new stage in my life. I finished my degree, 3 years done, all the stress done. I was thinking to myself, I'm done with studying. Little did I know I was going to do a master's about 2 to 3 years later, but we'll talk about that another time. Actually, I do have a video on my master's which I'll link for you. So at that point, I didn't really know what to do. I was planning and building the foundation of my life. And so I worked a few jobs. So I worked in retail mostly and was just getting my feet on the ground, trying to save up, trying to find myself. So I worked for about 2 years. And I then realized, and God spoke, because I spent most of my life not really knowing what I wanted to do for a career. So then I prayed about it around this time when I was working, because I just felt like I'm doing all these jobs and it's cool, but I want a career, I want a passion, I want a job that, God has called me specifically for. So I prayed for that, and eventually he came through, and, I found out my role, and you guys should know what my role is by now. So I did a master's degree in criminology, and I also volunteered to get some experience around my profession so that I could, when it's time to apply for the job, I could get the job. So I say all that to say that I've spent all these years building my foundation, and actually I didn't even feel left out when people would ask me, because when I joined my first office, when I got into my career and started working at it, I used to go on annual leave a lot, and I actually used to go on leave to work on some YouTube videos and do some business stuff. And people would ask me, okay, so where are you going? And I was having financial issues because basically I did my master's degree and I had to pay it off. So it took me 2 years to pay it off, and thank God that I was able to pay it off. But people would always say, where are you going? And I would always say, well, I'm not going anywhere. It's a staycation. And it was a staycation for many years. And I didn't really feel any way. I said it boldly and confidently, even though people made comments like, you can travel within the UK. Maybe I didn't want to at the time, but people had their own opinion, and that's fine. But you will find that people will always have something to say, they'll always have an opinion. But once you know who you are in Christ, once you know your identity in Christ, it doesn't actually really matter, because you know the stage you're at. And you learn to embrace it. You might have good days and bad days, but the difference is that you learn to embrace the season, and you trust God and know that that season is going to teach you something. So I basically was content with being without traveling, being money being tight. I learned to be content with it, even though sometimes it became frustrating. And I knew that eventually I'll be able to travel. And I think last year, actually, I wanted to travel, but it didn't actually work out in the end. So I know that some years I'm I want to travel this year, but it doesn't actually happen like that. And I'm just well, such is life, And I just knew that I was working on something. I knew that I was a bit different, because I knew I wanted to have a business. I knew I was investing in my business. So sometimes that money goes back into that. I knew that I'm saving up for my future as well. So going on holiday is not something that I'm crazy about. But then if you think about it, like right in the here and now, life is for living, and you should try and go wherever you can. If God leads, like if the time is right, if you have the money, you know, it's good to make memories with people. It's good to travel. It's good to take a break away from your normal daily rush of life, because psychologically and emotionally it's good for the body, it's good for the mind to just rest. And my holiday was amazing. I don't know if you saw my lookbook and my kind of travel diary going on, but I loved it. It was so nice, and it was just so good because I really feel like we gave God the glory. We took our Bibles with us, we took our journals with us, and we were really intentional, because I went with a good friend that goes to my church. I actually met her at my church, and I just find that, like, looking back, I can see growth. I mean, when I was traveling back then, I was a lukewarm Christian, so I was going with lukewarm Christians, and we didn't give God the glory. We just did what we wanted to do, you know, going out and, you know, wearing the tiniest clothes, not really caring. But this time around, I was intentional, and we definitely prayed every day. We did our Bible study every day, and I just see the differences and the growth. So I'm really thankful for that, because you have to be working on something, and God is always constantly motivating us to be working on something. And I just posed the question that you should ask yourself is like, what are you working on now, and where would you like to see yourself in 5 years? Like, ask yourself those questions so that you can start building the foundation, because we don't want to waste our time. We don't want to just sit around here wishing that our lives were like someone like on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, because people might be traveling and having money to spend on expensive things, but they may not actually be happy. They may not have Christ. They may not have peace, and they may not be content in their lives. So what I will say for this video, and just to close now, is just to be content and focus on growing your own grass, and don't try and look and think that the grass is green on the other side, because your journey is unique, your journey is special, and it's just for you. No one else's journey can be the same as yours. So be bold and confident in what you're doing and how your life is growing, and you'll be surprised. And one of the things I do look forward to when I get married is to just travel with my partner before we start having children, because that's something that I would love to do. And by the grace of God, I would like to go to the Pinky Promise conference in Atlanta. I really want to go to that, because like, I know that they come to London, but when they do it in Atlanta, they have the whole full works going on. They have the 24-hour praise and worship. They have the full services, and they have like exercising classes and stuff like that. So I just absolutely love it. Like, I don't know. I hope I can go next year, but let's see what God does, you know. So I just wanted to encourage you, like, in between the time that you're not going on holiday and in your daily life, like, plan ahead and speak things into existence, pray about things, and just be hopeful. Saving up is really important, and looking for budget holidays is so important as well. And a tip that someone told me is that they just plan months ahead on the holidays that they're going on. But with me, I just like to kind of just plan and pray ahead of time, and kind of seek God's permission and seek his peace about going somewhere. So I look forward to the adventures that are to come, because I do believe there'll be many more holidays to come, and I pray that you guys embrace that as well. If you've traveled this year, let me know where you've gone. If you plan to go somewhere in the next year or the next 2 years, let me know where you want to go. I'll be interested to know. Traveling is not everything. It's a beautiful thing, but just wait your turn if it's not your turn yet. God will bless you, and you'll be surprised. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless. Bye.